It should go, Naris. Now, I'm trying to not to be on here too long because my battery is low. I don't know how I'm gonna charge it. It's raining right now. I gotta walk certain spaces. There's a lot going on in my actual life that, whatever. Just a quick update for those who don't know. Right now, my main focus is like um celebrating the 5th year anniversary to my project Divine. That's what my main focus is right now. That's what I'm working on. Um, Next month, August 4th, is 5 years since I got my first EP. And I'm really probably, I've been hesitant about it. I mean, I wanted to do something special for the 5th year, but at the same time, part of me feels like no, because like, are people even going to support it? Is it even going to be, you know, worth the time and energy into pushing this project? And I know like if I do better marketing, maybe because like I have been getting traction on social media lately. So I mean it's possible. Um, and I know if I just put enough hustle behind it, then maybe. But you know, at this and then plus at the same time there's other demons and devils that I'm facing in life that I feel like are constantly distractions from me just working on my art and putting out music and just the things. But I'm trying to be better at promoting and whatnot. So that's my quick promotional thing. Be on the lookout. Divine 5. It's coming next month. Anyway, what I'm here to talk about before it even be a thing, because controversy loading every quarter is the same shit that I be saying. You know, the other day I had an experience where something slightly inappropriate happened to me. Um, and I didn't say anything and react in real time because several things. One, this particular person is helping me in this situation where I don't have any resources, don't have help in other spaces. So it was kind of like a moment where I was like, all right, let me pick my battle. Um, I could wow out right here, right now, and then like fuck up a situation that is helping me, you know, while I figure out what I'm doing with my car. And, but at the same time, like it was something that definitely made me uncomfortable. And, and it's like hard balancing, like, okay, I know this person, like to some aspect, maybe could be a good guy, you know, um, because they're helping me out. And maybe they were looking at me or, or saw me singing on live stream, or whatever the case may be, and thought like, okay, maybe this is something that I could use to, you know, I can take advantage of the situation and use this to my favor. You know, I don't know. My whole thing is like I said the other day, I think it's interesting where people draw the lines when it comes to morals. And then like just how you should react to certain things and what you should and shouldn't do. And I feel like there's a lot of nuanced things that go into it. And and the thing is like lately, my whole thing personally is trying to get better about like not overreacting in real time and not like spazzing out and like saying the wrong thing and saying a crazy thing in real time. Even if something crazy were to happen and warrants the reaction. But to be in a space where I'm like, all right, let me assess this situation. Let me just like calm down for a second. And then like maybe I'm tripping. Because there's that too. Sometimes there's that moment of like, all right, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe this wasn't as serious as I think it is, or maybe like I go through that too, and that's something that I've struggled with like most of my life, where certain situations where like something crazy were to happen, and I like have like a delayed reaction because I'm like, I know that didn't just happen how I like, like a moment like that. And then sometimes because of like who all is involved in the situation, I'm like, okay, maybe I don't want to overreact because, you know, this person is helping me out or this person was doing good. So like I don't want to like judge, like, like there's so many factors that go into situations like that. And and I think it's easy for people to be on the outside looking in and judge like, oh, why didn't you react like this, or why didn't you say this, or how did you let this happen, or whatever. And in some instances it's easy to put blame on the female and say like, oh, why didn't you react this way, or why didn't you say anything, or why did you let this happen. But I'm like, why are we not looking at the environment and what's the people perpetuating these actions? You know what I mean? Like, why do people, like, for example, like if you live in a culture like hip hop, say if you in 2000s, hip hop was very misogynistic, right? And it was a part of culture. It was a known thing that, you know, workspaces in hip hop would probably might not be the safest for women, and you just had to adapt to that environment rather than address the fact that why are these spaces unsafe, right? And then when you are the person that's constantly calling out why these spaces are unsafe, you get blackballed. You miss out of opportunities. People exclude you and you have a hard time finding work. And so you're put in situations where you're struggling to make ends meet. So then that forces you to be like, okay, well, maybe I have to like, there has to be some acceptable evils just so I can like get by, and if I'm too outspoken, then I fuck up this opportunity that provides me something where I can like feed myself and feed my family or whatever the case may be. So it's like when you say the right thing and you do the right thing and you call this shit out, you put a target on your back. And then when you don't say something, people are like, well, why didn't you say anything? And then sometimes it's like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it's like, well, where's the line supposed to be? Because I feel like everybody crosses that line one way or another, and people just judge how you crossed the fucking line, or if you didn't cross the line, or whatever the case may be. Because it's like, in my situation, I've been in spaces where I have to constantly be the punching bag. And when I call that shit out and when I say it's fucked up, but I just have to take it because that's just the nature of the environment, I just have to take that shit, even though I'm constantly calling out these evils. And so now I'm trying to be more strategic. Now I'm trying to be more intentional about what's being called out and how I'm calling it out. And not that I'm ignoring certain things, but I'm making mental notes of it. So when the time is right, I'll address it when I need to address it, because maybe I can't address it right now how I want to, because there's more things happening in the background that I don't understand. And I'm trying not to fuck certain shit up. So it's like, all right, you know, I could go off on this motherfucker, but at the same time, this is like say if you working at a job and your boss is a fucking asshole, you know this motherfucker an asshole, and sometimes they be trying you, and you just want to curse a motherfucker out. But this your job, and this is how you pay your bills. And if you got kids, this is how you feeding your kids. And you're right, and to address certain issues, you have the right to curse this motherfucker out, but you can't just do that because you're jeopardizing an opportunity for yourself. So you feel like, all right, it's just that you gotta pick. And like, all right, maybe I shouldn't pick this battle, or maybe it's complicated situations where it's like, all right, say your boss isn't an asshole, and you know that they're a good person and they mean well, and maybe they did something that was kind of fucked up, and it's like I could go off on this person, but I know this person isn't a bad person, but this right here is fucked up. So it's like, how do I approach this situation? Let me try to keep it calm right here, right now. And let me just assess it for a moment, because sometimes it takes me a moment to process certain things in real time and then figure out a way to address it where I'm not being antagonizing, but addressing the issue without making it a bigger problem than what it needs to be.
How are you?
Hi. Hi.
It's my family shop.
Yeah,
You stay here?
yeah.
Oh, it's my brother.
Haji?
Haji, my brother.
Yeah, he let me stay here.
Everything good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You want something? No?
I'm okay. Thank you. Example A. And when you're in these situations where you have to pick your battles, and you know, you could just go off and you could certain shit, but like certain battles you got to lose, certain battles to win the war. Even though you might be justified and like wilding out in a particular battle. This is the plight of women in more ways than one. You know, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, you're supposed to react a certain way, but then it's like another example in situations where like women get catcalled, and it's like you could wow out on this person catcalling you, but then you don't know if that person is crazy. You don't know if this person would threaten your life, because women get unalived like that. So it's like, all right, do you just bite the bullet and deal with this motherfucker disrespecting you so you can make it home? Or do you say something, check it right then and there, and then potentially risk being in a situation where your life is at risk? These are the things that I think about in certain circumstances. And then not only that, but but my issue with society and humanity and the bigger picture of it all is there's too much of a focus on like how people react to these situations, and not enough emphasis on why these situations keep happening, and why people feel like they have to play these roles, and why people have to play these games and throw up certain issues just to be like, hey, I don't want that smoke, or like this is what we gotta just to get ahead, this is why we gotta do to skate by, why we gotta do to stay under the radar so we don't put a target on our back. And for so long, and so many of these live streams, I have called these things out, and without the code of it all. But of course, I'm making the block hot when I do that. And I understand there's certain battles that require strategy. And in these battles that require strategy, it's easy to just be like, oh, well, why ain't you saying nothing? You're supposed to fight this person. You're supposed to do this and that. And it's like, it's not like I'm letting shit slide. is that it's a lot that goes into this, and I'm trying to be understanding of that. And the whole discourse of like what you should and shouldn't do, how you should and shouldn't react is not helpful, especially when you're not in these circumstances. People will literally watch the world through your eyes and still not understand what it's like to be you and have to live through these things, especially in environments that co-sign abusive behavior. And then when you call the shit out, but because it's the norm, because yeah, you might be right. That whole thing of like, oh, if everybody has a problem and you're the one denominator, maybe you're the problem. No, because if you grow up in certain cultures that in traditions that co-sign abuse towards women or degrading women or disrespecting women or not valuing the intelligence and the autonomy of the body of a woman, and you're the one woman that says something like, hey, this is fucked up, but you're going up against a whole conglomerate or a culture or tradition or thousands of years of how people have operated, and you know it's wrong. Like, yeah, this been going on for a long time, but it's fucked up. But if I say something right here and now, you might get stoned. And it's certain battles that require strategy, and I'm trying to get better at that. And when people are on the outside looking in, it's like, y'all, yeah, it's easy to be like, oh, this is how you should handle it. But then, like, you don't understand, like, the 5 moves that happen after you handle it that way and how you fuck up the whole situation. And I know that I've made that mistake several times. So I'm trying to not be so impulsive with my reactions to certain things, even though I could look at something and be like, okay, this made me, I did not like that. Or something can happen to me and I'm like, I don't fuck with that. But I gotta, in my mind, react in real time and think about 10 steps down the line if I were to react this way versus me reacting this way. It's chess, not checkers. And I understand that there's some things that go on where it's like, this is deliberately fucked up. So, like, fuck the chess and the checkers. And oftentimes I feel that way. But it's certain things where you can't handle it like that. Because in your reaction, and you may feel justified in like spazzing out or like calling shit out and saying, oh, this is fucked up, this is wrong. It's not going to get the justice that you think it is. And actually, you speaking out and saying something and being loud and boisterous about it puts the movement back a few steps. And I hate that that's the world we live in. I hate that that's a thing. But I'm recognizing that. And in the game of self-preservation, you have to be mindful of which battles are worth picking right then and there. It's not that you forget certain things. It's that you, I mean, hello, look at the things that's happened in my life. You know, if we want to talk about it candidly, certain shit that I thought was cool, you know, that I'm certain relationships that I thought was good, but lo and behold, people was playing the long game. And then upon realizing that certain people were playing the long game, you was playing the wrong game based on misinformation. You playing a game on me, trying to humiliate and attack me over fallacies. But I'm like, how can you be so clever and strategic off of misinformation? But that's an example of people playing the long game and not handling things right then and there. You know? And I mean, when I see how like the game is played in this world and just like certain things that people have to do, and it's just like, like I said in my other live stream, everybody dances with the devil. Everybody, all of y'all, even the people who self-righteous, even the people who think they got their morals, even the people who are Christians and and praise God and listen to gospel music, like everybody got to dance with the devil. Apparently, it's just certain people choreography go a little bit harder than other people. And then y'all sit here and point fingers like, oh, why you two-stepping like that? Why you stepping in the name of love? But I'm like, bitch, you dancing too. You just doing the foxtrot. So what we talking about? I mean, to the same people that want to be helpful to me, but feel like they can't help me out loud, it's still a dance with the devil. Because imagine if you helped me out loud. Imagine if you were fearless in supporting me. Imagine if y'all was just like, everybody just said, fuck it, we gonna stop speaking in code. We just gonna say what it is out loud right here, right now. But oh yeah, in the midst of me doing this, I gotta put this little jab I gotta put this jab in here. I can't, I gotta sneak this, but then I gotta do a little sneak this. I gotta do the sneak this because I can't have them people coming for me. That's your dance with the devil. So I mean, it's crazy out here. It's crazy. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. And for the long time, I get in trouble for speaking the truth. I get in trouble for calling the shit out right then and there. And then again, it's certain instances where like you got to think about nuance, where it's like, it's one thing where it's like somebody that repeatedly does crazy shit versus like someone that for the most part moves with integrity, and then they do something that's like wasn't a good move, and you could like wow out, or you could just say, you know what, that ain't it. That ain't it. I know you feel like you gotta do certain shit, but that ain't it. And then it's like, all right, where's the line of accountability? And then it's like, oh, you're not reacting how you should be reacting, when we're all humans and we all have different personalities and experiences and upbringings and and reactions to based on the trauma that we've faced in life or the lack thereof. So it's like, who is anybody to say anything about how you should react? Just because something doesn't happen in real time when you see it doesn't mean that it's not registering to that person and they're not taking account of it. It's just not happening how you think it should be happening. But here we are. Anyway, that's it. I gotta save my battery. And, that was the main point that I wanted to make anyway. Like I said, it's crazy out here. And honestly, shit like this is why I don't be wanting to have kids. Cause like this world is treacherous. And why would I want to raise a child in a world like this? Cause I give a fuck. I care. And it's like, of course, like life isn't perfect and things happen, and you can, prepare yourself and people as best as you can. But it's like, in a world like this, when we're too scared to stand on righteousness and really like believe in the gods that we think we serve. I say gods because I'm being considerate of other people's religious beliefs, not multiple gods. I mean, but there's some people who believe in multiple gods, and whatever, to each his own. But my point is like, You know, we live in a world where, like, it don't matter how Christian you are, there's part of you that fears the devil. And just maybe, you might not have as much faith in the God you serve as you think you do. Because you see how the devil be running rampant out here. And the results are immediate. Shit like that is why I hesitate to want to procreate. Anyway, that's the live stream. I said what I needed to say. But, you know, to be on my capitalistic wave, because, you know, I still, like, I'm, you know, being allowed to stay in a particular space as I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to fix my car, you know. But what I do have as a means to make some type of income is my project. The 5th anniversary to the Divine EP. I'm working on it. I'm putting it together. You know, it's what I have. It's the product that I got right now. I'm a musician. I'm a singer. I'm an artist. I gotta push my art. That's what we all doing out here. We gotta push our products, right? Well, that's my product. And, you know, this is my Cash App. So, you know, anybody that, you know, questions how I react in certain situations where I feel like my back is against the wall and I got to pick my battles because, you know, I'm picking battles with people who are providing resources for me. Donate to my Cash App. Donate to my Cash App. So I have some money so I could make some moves for myself where I don't have to rely and be in circumstances where I have to deal with certain things that I shouldn't have to. And I say that respectfully. I say that respectfully because I know there's people who care, and I know that that's where that energy is coming from. That energy is coming from a space of like, you deserve better, and, you know, you should be more protective of yourself. And I get that, but it's not easy. But, you know, with that same energy, please donate to my Cash App. Help me financially, so I can feed myself, so I can take care of Angie, so I can potentially save and fix my car, so I don't gotta be in certain situations where I gotta deal with people who may have came from different cultures that are a little bit misogynistic. But then I also know pretty privilege is a real thing, so I have to use that to my benefit if it helps me. But then also be protective of myself because of pretty privilege, and that also being a thing that women have to be aware of, and with certain instances where people take it a little too far. But, you know, if you want to help, you know, if you are concerned, I appreciate that. I value that. I'm not saying that. Please don't take me the wrong way. Please don't say like, it's just, I'm speaking like this because, like, the circumstances is crazy, and I'm like little low key like irritated that I have to like be in these situations where I have to rely on folks. And, you know, and when I try to do things to create resources for myself is usually stunted by bullshit. So with that said, this is my Cash App. Please support the music. If you want to purchase a CD or a flash drive, reach out to me. Um, you know, I'm working on this rollout. You know, support me in real life. That would be helpful. And thank you to the people who do. Thank you to the people who are concerned about my situation and my well-being. I'm grateful for y'all. I don't take that for granted, you know, but obviously it's a lot going on. Like I said, it's a lot of, you know, dancing that's going on out here, and, you know, everybody dance a little different, and we all critiquing everybody else's dance, but everybody dancing. So I mean, but again, if you don't like the situation, this my Cash App. $NarisseM. That's my Cash App. If you want to donate, support my cause, support my independence, support my freedom of autonomy, please donate to my Cash App. And then when I put out my merchandise collection, buy the merchandise. Even if you don't like it. Because Lord knows there's been times where I've supported people's stuff. I wasn't the demographic, but it was my people's. So I supported them. Because that's just what you do. That's just what I do. I don't know. I don't know what everybody else be doing. Because, there's too many times where the same people I've supported have like kicked my back in. So, whatever. No pun intended. Because it just so happens that the words lined it up like that. But, you know, but either way, there's times I just bought the product just because you was selling it and you my peoples and I want to see you win. So do the same with me. With my CDs, when I roll this out, I'm gonna put the project. I'm working on putting the project on Bandcamp. I'm trying that platform out. Seeing what that's going to be like. I hear it's profitable for independent artists. But in the meantime, this is my Cash App. If you want to, bring some funds to $NarisseM and help me out that way. And, help me get my coins up so I can either fix my vehicle or figure out what my next step going to be and not have to rely on, others and really just be in a position where I can like care for myself. I'd appreciate a donation. Thank you in advance. With that said, that's a live stream. Much love to y'all. I hope y'all understand where I'm trying to come from and understand that I'm saying this out of love. And yeah, have a blessed day.